Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Speak Smart podcast. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something we all do, but maybe don't always do well: making appointments.
Yeah, it's such a fundamental skill, but you're right, it can be tricky. The sources you sent are fascinating. They cover everything from the basic vocabulary to really specific scenarios, even what to do when things go wrong.
Exactly, and I think this is going to be super helpful for our listeners. Maybe you're prepping for a big job interview, navigating the world of healthcare appointments, or just want to feel more confident handling A and Y scheduling situation. We've got you covered.
What I find interesting is how much emphasis is placed on preparation. It's not just about showing up, it's about setting yourself up for success.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. What kind of preparation are we talking about?
Well, first off, knowing the key terms. Think, schedule, book, confirm, reschedule. These words are the building blocks of any appointment interaction.
Confirm is the one that always gets me. I can't tell you how many times I've messed up by not confirming an appointment. Once I showed up for a dentist appointment and they had me down for a completely different day.
Oh, that's the worst. It highlights why confirming is about more than just avoiding confusion. It's about respecting everyone's time, both yours and the person you're meeting.
Right, it shows you're taking it seriously. So once we've got the lingo down, how do we actually go about making the appointment? Phone versus in person, what's the deal?
Both have their pros and cons. And the sources actually provide a core script that works for either. It starts with introducing yourself, stating what you need. And then this is key, offering a few potential time slots.
Oh, having options ready. That makes so much sense. I'm always fumbling around trying to find a date that works on the spot.
It puts the scheduler in a tough position too. Having options shows you've put some thought into it and makes the whole process smoother.
Love it. So we've stated our need offer times. What's next?
Then you choose the time that works best from what they offer. Confirm it clearly and end with a thank you. It's all about being concise, courteous, and organized.
But things get more complex depending on the type of appointment, right? Like I imagine scheduling a doctor's visit is different from booking a haircut.
Exactly. And this is where our deep dive gets really fun. The sources go deep into specific appointment types, and it's amazing how much detail they provide. This is perfect for our listeners who want to be prepared for anything.
All right, hit me with some examples. Let's start with those appointments we probably dread the most: the doctor and the dentist.
When it comes to medical appointments, you need to be ready to give additional info. They might ask about the reason for your visit, whether it's a general checkup or something specific.
Speaking of checkups, I've always wondered at what point in life do those actually become important? Asking for myself, of course.
That's a great question. It really depends on your individual health and family history, but as we get older, regular checkups become crucial for preventive care. Think of it like taking your car in for maintenance. Catch small issues before they become big ones.
Okay, that's a helpful analogy. So, Dr. Dentist, what about something a little less intimidating? Say, haircuts or car repairs?
With services like those, the focus shifts to availability. You're trying to match your needs with their open slots.
Oh, tell me about it. Finding a good hairstylist who actually has appointments available is like winning the lottery.
It can definitely feel that way. Be specific about what you need, type of service, specific stylist, etc., and then ask about their openings.
And I imagine asking about the duration of the appointment is important too.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm trying to fit it into a busy day.
Absolutely. It's all about planning effectively and avoiding conflicts. You don't want to book a haircut during your lunch break only to find out it'll take 2 hours.
Great point. Now let's move on to a category where things get a bit more formal. Job interviews and school meetings.
Definitely. The tone shifts here. Professionalism is key.
I learned that the hard way early in my career. Showed up for an interview in jeans and a t-shirt. Not a good look.
Yikes. Well, it's a lesson we all learn at some point. When scheduling these types of appointments, always use proper names and titles. Be polite, confirm all the details, and yes, dress appropriately.
So we've covered medical personal care and professional appointments. Is there anything else we need to tackle?
Yes. The often overlooked, but oh so important utilities and home services appointment.
Oh man, I'm so glad you brought those up. Everyone has a story about waiting for the cable guy who never shows up.
It's a universal experience. When scheduling these, confirm all the logistics, access to your home, any equipment you need to have ready, and a clear time frame for the service. You want to minimize those frustrating waiting around moments as much as possible.
All right, I'm feeling much more prepared already. We've covered a ton of ground.
Oh.
But before we move on, can we circle back to the importance of confirmation and directions? I feel like those are easy to overlook, but can really make or break an appointment experience.
Absolutely. Confirming is essential, especially in today's busy world. It prevents miscommunications, ensures everyone is on the same page, and saves time and frustration.
And even in the age of GPS, asking for directions is never a bad idea. I'm terrible with directions, and I've learned the hard way that it's always better to ask than to end up lost and late.
I'm right there with you. Most people are happy to help, and it shows you're taking the appointment seriously.
Okay, we've covered making appointments, stressed the importance of confirming and getting directions, and even delved into specific types. But what about when things don't go according to plan? Despite our best efforts, life happens. And sometimes we need to reschedule or cancel. How do we handle those situations gracefully?
Reschedules and cancellations are definitely the trickiest part of the appointment game. It's never fun to have to do it, but sometimes it's unavoidable.
Tell me about it. I always feel so guilty when I have to cancel, especially at the last minute, like I'm letting the other person down.
I totally get that. But sometimes things come up, and we have to adjust. The key is to give as much notice as possible, and to communicate clearly and respectfully.
Okay, so what are some phrases that can help us navigate these situations without sounding flaky or unprofessional?
The sources emphasize the importance of timely notice. The sooner you can let the other person know, the better. It allows them to adjust their schedule and prevents them from waiting around unnecessarily.
Right, that makes sense. So what are some good phrases to use?
Keep it simple and direct. You could say something like, "I'm so sorry, but due to an unexpected conflict, I need to reschedule our appointment." Or, "Unfortunately, I'm no longer available on date and need to cancel our appointment."
And what about offering alternative times if I'm rescheduling?
That's a great idea. Suggesting a few new slots shows you're proactive and committed to finding a solution.
So we've covered how to handle reschedules and cancellations with grace. But even with the best planning, sometimes things just go wrong. It's like Murphy's Law is always lurking in the shadows of our calendars.
Oh, absolutely. Life throws curveballs and appointments are no exception. That's why it's important to have a plan for those oops moments when things go awry.
All right, let's dive into the Murphy's Law section of our deep dive. What are some common appointment mishaps? And how can we handle them like pros?
One of the most common and often stressful is running late.
I hate being late. Makes me feel so flustered and disrespectful.
I get it. But the key is communication. If you realize you're running behind, call ahead and let the other party know. A simple, "I'm so sorry, I'm running a bit behind schedule, but I should be there in estimated time," can go a long way.
And what if I'm so late that rescheduling is the only option?
Apologize sincerely, explain the situation, and offer to reschedule as soon as possible. If you can be flexible with your schedule to accommodate their availability, it shows you're taking responsibility for the inconvenience.
Okay, so running late is covered. What about the ultimate appointment fail? Forgetting it completely.
We've all been there. It's happened to me too. The important thing is to own up to the mistake, apologize sincerely, and try to reschedule quickly. A simple, "I'm so sorry, I completely blanked on our appointment. Can we please reschedule?" is a good starting point.
And what about when the shoe is on the other foot and it's the other party who messes up the appointment?
In those situations, stay calm, flexible, and solution-oriented. Remember, mistakes happen. Getting angry or confrontational won't help.
Right, it's about finding a resolution that works for both sides.
Exactly. You could say something like, "I understand that things happen. What are our options for rescheduling?" Or, "Is there anyone else available who can see me today?"
What about those times when there are long waits, misunderstandings, or even issues with the service?
Those can be frustrating, but again, stay polite and advocate for yourself. If you've been waiting an unreasonable amount of time, politely inquire about the delay. If there's a misunderstanding, calmly clarify the situation. If you're unhappy with the service, express your concerns constructively and seek a resolution.
You know, I had an experience once where I booked a massage, but when I arrived, they had me down for a facial. It was so confusing.
Oh no, what did you do?
I calmly explained the situation, and luckily, they were able to accommodate me. It just goes to show that clear communication and a willingness to work things out can go a long way.
That's a great example. Now, there are a couple of other scenarios the sources cover that we should touch on. Language barriers and safety concerns.
Yes, those are important considerations. What do the sources recommend?
If you're having trouble understanding someone, don't hesitate to ask for clarification. You can say, I'm sorry, could you please repeat that? Or could you please speak a bit slower?
And if I sense the other person is having trouble understanding me, I should try to speak clearly and use simple language.
Exactly. And technology can be a big help here. Translation apps can be invaluable for bridging communication gaps.
But even with technology, clear communication from the start is key. When making the appointment, be upfront about any language needs or preferences.
Absolutely. And this is super important. If you ever feel uncomfortable or unsafe during an appointment, trust your instincts and leave. Your safety always comes first.
That's such a vital reminder. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. From the basics of making appointments to handling those unexpected hiccups that can throw us off course. But what about after the appointment? I'll admit I'm not always great at the follow-up.
Follow-up is often overlooked, but it's crucial. It ensures things went well, shows you're proactive, and can help you get important information.
Okay, I'm all ears. Why is it so important, and how can we do it effectively?
Following up serves a few purposes. First, it lets you confirm that everything went according to plan and address any outstanding questions or concerns. It also shows your commitment and professionalism, which can be especially important after job interviews or business meetings.
And in some cases, it's essential for getting crucial information, like medical test results or instructions.
For example, after a medical appointment, you might need to follow up to get those test results, clarify instructions, or schedule a follow-up visit.
And for job interviews.
Sending a thank you note after a job interview is a great way to reiterate your interest. Thank them for their time, and keep your name top of mind.
So what about more general appointments? Is follow-up still important?
Even for those, it can be beneficial. You can confirm details, ask any lingering questions, or just thank the person for their time. For instance, after a haircut, you might follow up to ask about the products they used or schedule your next appointment.
Follow-up makes a lot of sense, but how can we stay organized to make sure we don't drop the ball? I need all the organization help I can get.
That's where our deep dive shines. The sources offer some excellent tips for staying on top of your appointments and ensuring you don't miss crucial follow-ups.
All right, let's hear them. What are our secret weapons for appointment organization?
First and foremost, embrace the power of calendars. Whether you prefer a physical planner, a digital calendar on your phone, or a combination of both, find a system that works for you and stick with it.
I love my paper planner. But I have to admit, I've been hearing a lot about the benefits of digital calendars. The ability to sync across devices and get reminders sounds amazing.
They are pretty great. But even if you prefer pen and paper, you can still incorporate some digital elements. For example, set a reminder on your phone to check your planner each morning.
Ooh, that's a great idea. The best of both worlds. What else do we got?
Don't underestimate the power of reminders. Set reminders for appointments, follow-ups, and any deadlines related to those appointments. To-do lists are also helpful. Add your appointments to your daily or weekly to-do list so you have a visual overview of everything you need to accomplish.
Reminders and to-do lists are lifesavers. What about when things get really busy? Any tips for managing a packed schedule?
Absolutely. If you have a lot going on, try color coding your calendar or to-do list. Use one color for work appointments, another for personal appointments, and so on. It helps to visualize your schedule and make sure you're not overcommitting yourself.
That's a great tip. I'm a very visual person, so that would definitely help me stay organized.
And finally, make it a habit to keep all your appointment-related information together. Confirmation emails, directions, notes, instructions, contact info. Put it all in one place. It will save you time and stress when you need to access it.
I'm a big fan of folders for that. I have a physical folder for important documents and a digital folder on my computer for emails and files.
That's a great system. Having all the information easily accessible is key to staying organized and prepared.
We've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive, but before we wrap things up, there's one thing that really struck me in all these sources. It's the importance of preparation, even for seemingly simple appointments.
I completely agree. It's easy to think, oh, it's just a haircut or it's just a quick meeting, but a little preparation can make the whole experience so much smoother.
Exactly. Like for a haircut, I usually just walk in and hope for the best. But now I'm thinking maybe I should bring photos of hairstyles I like. Know how much time I need to block off.
It's about respecting the other person's time too. The stylist, the doctor, whoever it is, they want to help you, but they can only do so much if you're not prepared.
And preparation goes beyond just the appointment itself, right? It's about how you manage your time and information overall.
Absolutely. All the tips we talked about, calendars, reminders, to-do lists, those are all about setting yourself up for success.
You know, I've always resisted digital calendars. I love my paper planner, But hearing all this, I'm starting to think I might be missing out on some serious organizational power.
It might be worth exploring. Even if you stay with pen and paper, you can still borrow some digital strategies. Set a phone reminder to check your planner each morning, for example.
That's a great idea. So to sum it all up, it seems like the key to mastering appointments is a combination of clear communication, thoughtful preparation, and smart organization.
Exactly. And don't forget that dash of grace under pressure when things inevitably go wrong.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, they will.
Oh, they absolutely will. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's one specific action you're going to take based on all this information? Will you be more diligent about confirming appointments? Finally, embrace that digital calendar. Share your thoughts on social media or leave us a review. We love hearing from you.
Yes. Let's keep the conversation going. We learned so much from your experiences.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the art of making appointments. Thanks for joining us on the Speak Smart podcast. Until next time, stay curious and remember, a little bit of preparation can go a long way.